Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order, the regular council meeting, Monday, December 19th. And we, as usual, we'll start with the acknowledgement of treaties of peace and friendship. We would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq peoples. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which Wolastoqiyik, Mi'kmaq, and Passamaquoddy peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1726. The treaties did not deal with surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized the Mi'kmaq and Wolastoqiyik title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. Thank you. Well, next is the oath of office. We do hereby accept the office of council and will diligently, faithfully, and impartially discharge to the best of our ability the duties as being imposed upon us by law. I don't have the list. My phone is just acting up here a little bit. Just give me a second. And we will do the moment of reflection. So for this meeting, we would like to have a moment of reflection for the following members of our community and region: Scott Devereaux, Paul Rochelle, Donna Legacy and Dennis Guitar, John Doyle, Louis Corrier, Annette Robichaud Donnelly, and Cameron Dempsey of Beldoon, Jacket River, Daniel Lozier, Eileen Esliger, Lorraine Lejeune Tardif, George Richard Rorty, Donna Russell, and Christine Carrier and Calvin Hickey of Lorne, Rhoda Murchie of Nash Creek, Martin Smear, formerly of Black Point, and Perry Carrier, formerly of Lorne. So if we could have a moment of silence. Thank you. So we get to the adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or changes, deletions to the agenda? If not, can we get a motion?
2022-12-19-186, that the agenda be presented.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Statements of conflict of interest. I may have one later. I think we're dealing with the request for the gentleman's hockey tournament. So I'll step out and we're dealing with that, I guess. So the adoption of the minutes. Can we get do we have a motion attached with that? I don't have that in front of me. No? Yeah, okay.
2022-12-19, that the minutes of the regular meeting of October 17, 2022, and Committee of Whole Council Budget meeting of November 22nd, 2022 be adopted as presented.
Okay, can we get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. We don't have any presentations, petitions, or delegations. We'll move to the statements by members of council. Councilor Carrier.
This is going to be the fourth time, I believe it is, that I've put this on the agenda, and it's going to be the first time I get to read it. So after the last meeting on the 28th, there was a lot of messages and people wanting to know what 6.1.1 was. This is 6.1.1. It's a proposed amendment to our bylaw regulating the proceedings of the council meetings. And what I would like to do is change it, because currently it states in the bylaw that you have to submit supporting documents in order to add something to the agenda. And it was advised by our legal counsel back in May of last year, I believe it was, to amend that because a lot of times there's no need for supporting documents. And as an example, I'll use when I had made the motion for a change table. What I ended up having to use for a supporting document was a link to the Walmart site showing a change table for sale. And if I would not have done that, it would be a reason for my item to be removed from the agenda. So that is one of the things that I want to change. And the other thing is that right now, in order to add something to the agenda of a regular meeting, it takes a motion of a unanimous vote of all of council to agree to add something to the agenda. I would like to change that to reword it so that it takes a majority vote instead of a unanimous vote. So a majority vote of council would allow for an item to be added to the agenda. So that's what it is. So M 2022-11-28-188, that bylaw number 10-2004, a bylaw regulating the proceedings of the council of the Village of Baldoon be amended as follows. Under section F, agendas, regular meetings, subsection 2, strike out the words "and shall provide sufficient background information" after the word "address." And under section F, agendas, regular meetings, subsection 3.1, substitute the words "unanimous consent" with the words "majority vote."
Okay, can we get a seconder? On the question?
If I may, Your Worship?
Yep.
You know, I believe in our procedural bylaw, it states clearly that anything presented to the clerk prior to Thursday at 2 o'clock will be on the agenda. I'm not quite clear if this motion is directed towards, let's say, here we are at a public meeting this evening, and somebody wants to add something to the agenda tonight. At the end of the day, in my opinion, and you know, it comes down to that this bylaw was put in place to prevent you know, council from making a rash decision in the heat of the moment. So, for example, if someone wanted to add something to the agenda tonight and council was not all aware of all the details, a motion could be made and approved that may not be quite clear to everyone involved. I am very, very confident. I've been on 2 other councils that had this bylaw in place that prevented council members from adding items to the agenda at the 11th hour without unanimous consent of council. And the reason, as I mentioned before, the reason it is unanimous consent of council, it is because that if a council member should have a question or something's not clear or they wish to present something to council that maybe should not be discussed publicly, then that gives the council member the opportunity to bring that information or the reasoning to council. You know, that bylaw has served, I believe, at least 3 councils. This would be council number 4. And changing it at this moment in time, in my opinion, again, is not in the best interest of council or the public. At the end of the day, for me, I believe that the bylaw should remain the way it is. I'm also in agreement that documentation, if presented, you know, prior to Thursday at 2 o'clock, prior to the meeting, I have no issues with having those items on the agenda because those items would allow council time to evaluate it and look at it. But a last minute item at the 11th hour at a meeting such as this coming to the council table, I am highly opposed to that. So I'm hoping council has maybe an idea or a different look. But with that said, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a motion to table this motion until the next meeting.
Okay, so we have a motion to table on the floor. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councilor Carmichael. On the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. So the motion to table has been defeated. So we move to the motion itself.
I didn't get a chance to speak again.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
So I just wanted to make note that you're saying that if council didn't have enough information on something that was added at the 11th hour, as you so put it, would that not be when they would do as you're trying to do right now and table it in order to get more information? And the bylaw was exactly what I'm trying to make it until you changed it. So I'm not understanding, I guess, why it is that you would be so opposed. And I'll give you an example of when it could be used and at the 11th hour. And it was when I tried to add something to the agenda. And what I tried to add was an update on hiring our CAO. That's all I wanted, was an update to hire our CAO. And because not all of council agreed that I was entitled to that update, I didn't get one. And I think that was unfair. So I think that if somebody adds something to an agenda and you don't feel comfortable with the information, and it is a majority vote of council, then you were within your right to ask to table the motion like you have tonight.
And I did, and I got exactly the results I expected.
And again, you're not following the bylaws you wanted me to do because you weren't supposed to speak again after me, remember?
Okay,
Yeah, I know,
okay.
but you weren't supposed to speak again.
Okay, so Counselor Carrier gets the last word on that, and I guess we're ready to vote then. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, the motion passed. So we move on to Counselor Robinson.
There's a request before council to submit a letter of support to the Schiller Bay Watershed Group. They receive funding annually from the New Brunswick Wildlife or Environmental Trust Fund. So they're seeking a letter of support for some of the work that they do. So part of their mandate and the funding they're seeking through the Environmental Trust Fund is for watershed monitoring. They do a lot of beach cleanups. They worked at Rorty Point. Marilyn attended the event with them at Rorty Beach. They work at Antinory Lake. They do work on the Baldwin River. So it's just a letter of support for their funding application. So the motion is 2022-1128-189, that council, the Village of Baldoon, submit a letter of support to the Schiller Bay Watershed Group for the application to the New Brunswick Environmental Trust Fund for buffer zone monitoring and restoration project.
You have a seconder? On the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. That's it for council reports. We move on to administration reports. Clerk Treasurer Cormier.
The motions are before council, so if they just want to proceed in that fashion.
Okay, so we have a motion 711. Do we have a mover?
M 2022-1129-190, that the invoice submitted by Cox and Palmer for legal service by Jessica Bungay in the amount of $18,849.22 be authorized for payment.
Do we have a seconder? Okay,
I'll second that.
seconded by Deputy Mayor Burke. On the question?
I have a question. So this one is for 18-849-22, and they've not finished providing the documentation that was requested, so I would think that we should hold off on paying this until they fulfill their obligations from our previous request, and reconsider it at that time, I guess.
Anyone else? So on the motion, dash 190, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion did not pass. 7.1.2. Do we have a mover? Do we have a seconder
I'll second that, Your Worship.
on the question?
I have a question. My understanding is that these people were seeked by misrepresentation from council. And I understand that our name is attached to this as councillors of the Village of Belledune. We will have to pay this, but we need the person and persons who authorize this to be held accountable because we were unaware of this.
Anyone else?
I agree. I feel that the people who gave authorization to make this bill, they should be the ones financially responsible to pay it. But until we can make that motion, I guess it will have to be paid because our name is attached to it. But it was not authorized by council. It was not a recommendation of council. It wasn't in the minutes. So it's another financial expense that the taxpayers will have to pay due to misrepresentation.
Anyone else? On the motion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Financial reports.
The general operating fund from October the 1st to November the 30th, 2022. The bank balance carried forward from August was it should be September, I'm sorry. From September was $363,252.64. Deposits of $8,082.10. Transfer from utility fund $115. Direct payments of $2,300. Province of New Brunswick direct payments $726,456. Province of New Brunswick direct payment for fire services $5,595. Province of New Brunswick direct payment for lane marking $16,628.48. Province of New Brunswick RDC grant for splash pad $38,917. Arena cash deposits of $6,264. Arena e-transfers of $1,169.50. Revenue Canada HST rebate $68,664.17, and interest revenue of $3,013.75, for total deposits of $887,197. We had checks that were issued from October the 1st to November the 30th of $1,02,662.98. Account payable direct payments of $14,701.92. Direct payment Service New Brunswick $41. Direct payment Work Health and Safety $4,761.89. Bank charges of $181.76, and MasterCard payments of $4,446.65. We had checks that were outstanding and cleared from September of $133,829.05. Checks still outstanding at the end of November of $47,508.95. We have a current account balance at the end of November of $127,334.34. The capital reserve account balance of $3,102,123.43. Capital operating reserve of $205,166.02, and a gas tax fund of $643,480.32. We had the current accounts payable as per the list of $117,770.09. Current accounts receivable for 2021, we still have a $2,070, and as of November the 30th for 2022, $3,195.50. Due from the General Utility Operating Fund was $6,000, and due to the General Utility Operating Fund, $6,162.23. For the Utility Operating Fund for October the 1st to November the 30th, 2022, bank balance carried forward, again, it should be September, was $28,471.30. We had deposits of $6,006.96. Direct payment of $176.06, e-payments of $1,000, and interest of $149.16, for total deposits of $7,332.18. We had the checks that were issued from October the 1st to November the 30th of $5,334.99, e-transfer payments of $11,804.74, and transfer to the General Operating Fund of $115. The checks that cleared from September were $3,158.97, and checks still outstanding at the end of November were $262.02. The current account balance for the utility operating fund is $15,651.80. The capital reserve account was $78,760.93. The operating reserve account was $7,063.82, and the trust account balance of $29,249.58. We had current account payable as of December the 14th was $183.83. On the receivables, we had 2020 residential, $150, 2021 residential, $625, and as of November the 30th, 2022, the residential was $1,625, and as of November the 30th, industrial was $3,383.26. Again, due from the general operating fund, $6,162.23, and due to the general operating fund, $6,000.
A motion to approve?
M 2022-1128-192, that the financial report be accepted as presented and the account will be paid.
Seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion is passed.
I just want to point out on your list of accounts receivable, you will see invoices, there was a couple there, like for Cox and Palmer. Those will not be paid. They were part of the 18,000.
Okay, we move on to 193, the Village of Belledune Community Volunteer Income Tax Program. Can we get a motion for that?
M 2022-1128-193, that the Village of Baldoon agree to be a participating community organization for the 2023 Community Volunteer Income Tax Program, CVITP filing season.
Get a seconder?
Second that.
All those, any on the question? Any questions? No, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, next we move to the meeting schedule. Can we get a mover for that?
M 2022-1128-194, that the special meeting be held Thursday, December 29th, 2022 for the year-end financial projections.
Get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question? All those in favor? Pardon me, Lillian?
What time would that meeting be at?
Doesn't give a time. 6:30, 7?
6:30?
6:30? Okay, so it'd be 6:30 on the 29th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Next, we get to bylaws and policies, the code of practice for managing, 195, okay. The committee of whole council meeting be rescheduled, okay, to January 2nd. Can we get a mover for that?
M 2022-1128-195, that the committee of whole council meeting be rescheduled from Monday, January 2nd, 2023 to Monday, January 9th, 2023.
Can we get a seconder
I'll second it.
on the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Lillian, did you have a question?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Next, we move to bylaws and policies, the code of practice for managing workplace violence. That's dash 196. Can we get a mover for that? Do we need someone to read that?
No.
Okay. So can we get a mover for that particular motion?
I move that M 2023-12-19-196, or sorry, 2022, the council adopt the code of practice for managing workplace violence.
Can I get a seconder
I'll second it.
on the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Next is the employee leave and leave of absence policy amendment. Can we, this, yeah, so this was tabled apparently on October 17th. So can we bring it back? It's dash 197. Do we have a mover for that?
M 2022-1219-197, move to remove from the table the following table, motion M 2022-1017-167, regarding recreation and wellness program service provider, contract HRP-017, employee leave and leave of absence, policy amendment HRP-017, 10-22.
Okay. Can we get a sec?
M 2022-1017-167, that HRP 07 employee leave and leave of absence policy, section 6, sick leave policy, subsection 6.2 specific procedure, be amended to add under paragraph 3 after the word doctor or nurse practitioner, and replace the 2 days with 3 days, to add the following paragraph. A full employee will accumulate 1 day per month for every month of service for maximum of 15 days, accrued days. Medical and dental appointments are not considered as sick time. Should an employee cease to be an employee, the accrued portion of the sick leave benefit will not result in a payout.
Okay,
If I may, Your Worship?
yeah,
Those are two separate motions. M 197
Yeah.
is a motion to bring it back to the table, so I believe council will need to vote to bring it back to the table.
yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking of doing, and then, count. No, it's okay. So we have a motion 197 to bring it back. Can I get a pardon me? Yeah, can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed, so we can move to dash 167. The, okay, which Counselor Carmichael just read. So can we get a seconder for that?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Now we come to motions and resolutions. Mark's not in this one yet, is he? Or is it? Is it in this one, Nicole? Just checking when Mark's is coming up.
Oh, no, that's
Grants, eh? Okay. So we're at, motions and the recreation and wellness programs. Service provider contracts. This was tabled also, and so I assume we're gonna need to, a motion to bring it back.
M 2022-1219-198, move to remove from the table the following table, motion M 2022-1017-168, M 22-10-17-169, and M 2022-1017-170 regarding recreation and wellness program service provider contracts.
Okay, can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. That motion passed. Dash 168, that council approve the service agreements as presented. Right there for,
2022-10-17-168, that council approve the service agreement as presented between Village of Beldoon and Sunny Bosco of yoga class, for yoga classes, and the mayor and the clerk signed the agreement.
okay, can we get a seconder for that?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Dash 169, and
That
this,
council approved the service agreement as presented between the Village of Beldoon and Denis Haché LeBlanc for fitness class, and the mayor and clerk signed the agreement.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. We move to dash 170. And this is another,
That council approves the service agreement as presented between the Village of Baldoon and Kate Scott for Zumba classes, and the mayor and clerk signed the agreement.
can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Dalhousie Nursing Home Foundation, a representative on that board. We have Counselor Carmichael, I believe, is willing to take part in that or be a part of that board. So could we get someone to make that motion?
M 2022-1219-199, that Councillor Carmichael be appointed as Baldoon representative to the Dalhousie Nursing Home Foundation.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion passed. Next is the tennis basketball court resurfacing. Can I get a mover for that?
M 2022-1219-200, that council authorize the recreation and wellness coordinator to proceed with application to the Regional Development Corporation for the tennis basketball court resurfacing of and conversion for pickleball court.
Okay, can I get a seconder?
I'll second that.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. The grant report and recommendation. Okay, Deputy Mayor Burke, if you want to take over, just let me, be out here, let me know when it's done. I'll be in the boardroom.
So the first one is 201.
M 2022-1219-201, that council awards social and environmental CAO grants to the following. Now, do I read each of those motions?
Please. Yeah.
There's two separate motions, and then there's a list in your report that says the people that have applied besides those, so it's making a decision on those other ones.
So just read the first one and then deal with that
The
one
first
first?
one, you just have to fill in the blank line.
Oh,
if you
okay.
go.
Okay, so M 2022-1219-202, that due to the deadline and as pre-approved by council by email, the amount of a $200 grant be approved for the Making Spirits Bright project.
To the question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. (203)
M 2022-1219-203, that due to the deadline and as pre-approved by council by email, the amount of a $250 grant be approved for the Super Village Trailblazers Snowmobile Club Children's Christmas Party.
Councilor Carmichael? To the question? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, the 201 motion, here's the request that you received. Beldoon Skating Club, request for $3,500 in lieu of ice time. Spirit of Christmas, that's the seniors program in Bathurst. Le Cadeau Royal, whatever Canadian, whatever, my French is not good, that's for sure. Nicole. So they're looking for a donation to the Brunswick Sports Hall of Fame We just did the two motions, council, for the Seniors Baldoon, Spirit of Christmas, and the Super Village Trailblazers. The next one is the Salvation Army Camilton, and then the Mark Arsenault donation towards the hockey tournament. So all those documents are attached in your packages. So it's just a matter of filling in whether you want to donate any from 1 to 4, and then 7 and 8, because 5 and 6 have already been done.
Not quite clear where that is myself here. So request that Belgian Figure Skating Club, Spirit of Christmas, they get that, then the New Brunswick Sports Hall of Fame.
Whoever's talking,
It's on.
Okay, so,
I couldn't hear.
okay, so we're just gonna need a motion here, council email, amount to approve. That's been approved, okay, so. So I guess that is under motion 201, that council awards social development grants to the following. So it's items 1 to 4. So I'll need a mover and a, and 7 and 8, and 7 and 8. 1 to 4 and 7 and 8.
Because there's 2 months that
Yep,
there was
okay.
no.
So I need a mover for that. I will move it. I'm eligible to move it? No? As chair? No? Okay.
Would we, how do we put, like, what if you want to give to some but not all?
Just, you choose the ones.
But we would have to discuss and figure out which ones, because myself personally, like, the skating club, yes, it's Belgian Skating Club. The Spirit of Christmas, from Bathurst one. Do we have any of our own seniors down there? And then the cadets in Petrush, I believe that's all in French, so I think that our cadets are going to Dalhousie, where it's offered in English. The Salvation Army.
So 1 and 2, you're questioning 3. And the New Brunswick Sports Hall of Fame?
I'm questioning 2 and 3. New Brunswick Sports Hall of Fame, I'm not even sure.
No, you're questioning 3 and 4.
Yes, no, 2 and 3. So the Spirit of Christmas one,
Oh, okay,
yeah, because that's in Bathurst.
okay.
And number 3 one, that's cadets in Petrush.
So you're questioning 2, 3, and 4?
Number 4, I'm not even sure, is that, yeah, I wouldn't, I'm not interested in that one either unless we have people from this area that are being awarded. And then Salvation Army in Camilton. And then this, the tournament is, I'm assuming that's a tournament that's done here in
Yeah,
Belgium.
yeah.
So I would go with the ones that benefit the people here in Belgium. So that would be, I would go with 1.
1 and 8,
Yeah. Anybody else have any?
okay. So are you asking to amend that motion to 1 and 8?
Well, does it need, I think you just fill in the blank, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you just fill in the blank.
okay, so,
So can I say 1 and 8, or do I have to say the name?
no, just,
I'll go with the.
yeah, 1 and 8,
Say 1 and 8?
yeah.
I'll fill it out there properly in your motion.
Just for clarification, it will be the Beldoon Figure Skating Club and the Mark Arsenault Hockey Tournament. Okay. Okay,
And that's the 201, right? Yeah.
yes, okay.
M 2022-1219-201, that council awards social and environmental CAO grants to the following, which would be number 1 and
And
number
number
8.
Okay. Do we have a seconder for that motion?
I'll second that.
Councillor Carmichael, to the question? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. So we'll get the mayor back.
Okay. 9.5, okay. This is the request for Public Works to maintain ski and snowshoe trails around the town site. And there's a note there for the for council members to sort of base their decision on some of the information that's been provided. So with that, just checking to see, is there a particular motion with this? I don't. Okay, it's just, so we don't have any decision on that tonight? Or do we just ask council? Okay. Do we just ask? Okay, so council, you see what's before you, the request. Any thoughts?
The request was for Public Works to maintain the ski and snowmobile trails around the town site, and as great as that sounds, we are limited with staff right now, with Public Works. We don't have the equipment to be able to do it. I would be all for Daryl seeking, grants or any kind of funding for this type of winter activity. I think it would be a nice activity to have in our area. We just don't have the staff or the equipment to be able to maintain those trails at this time, and that is my outlook on it.
Anyone else?
I'm in agreement.
Council Corey, that we don't have the staff, but it's a great thing, and maybe we could get our health and wellness again to look into it to see if, there's grants out there for us to be able to do that.
So my question is this, in the past, this individual has been given funds to do the path in the past? Okay, was that approved every year? Okay.
So what does council wish to do? Not do it this year with the lack of staffing, et cetera. The gentleman's not doing it. He's all, it's not, he's done his, he's sort of done his turn. He's done a great job with it through the years. It's tough. It's a lot to do. Sometimes he's out 2-3 times a day, and he's had his turn. So I guess if council feels that we just don't have the staff for it, then this year we'll just pass it.
I'm wondering, does anybody know what we had paid the gentleman who was maintaining it?
I believe 1 year it was 1,000, 1,500.
Look at the email that says to
Oh, okay.
Mr. Kingston.
Okay.
I had outlined it there for him.
So I'm wondering if we were to offer this amount to the same amount that we offered the other gentleman, if we were to offer that to the Skidoo Club, if they would use their groomer to open it. Like, I don't even know if the groomer goes down that far. But I'm wondering, so if it does go down there, I'm wondering if we offered them the same amount of money that we were paying the other gentleman, if they would make that pass for them. If they're down there anyway. And the groomer should be well capable of doing it for them. Maybe we could reach out to them. Okay.
Okay. So then we'll move on. I guess that's what we'll do. We'll just reach out to the Snowmobile Club and see what they would do. So that would take us down to dash 204, which is the truck, cab, and chassis. So do we have a mover for that, please?
2022-1219-204, that council approved the change of tender number VOB-PW-2021 to upgrade the truck, cab, and chassis from 2022 to a 2023 model for the additional cost of $21,957.
Okay, do we have a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Next is the contract for the cleaning at Rachel's Pristine Clean. Can we get a mover, please?
M 2022-1219-205, that council renew the janitorial service agreement for 2022-2023 with Rachel's Pristine Clean.
Okay. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Counselor Robinson, I believe. Excuse me. Next is the firefighter convention motion to, for the remuneration for those who attended. Can you get a mover, please?
M 2022-1219-206, that council approved Mayor Arsenault, Deputy Mayor Burke, and Councillor Robinson attending the 2022 NB Firefighters Convention in Fredericton on November 25th and 26th, 2022.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion approved. Next, we move down to the snow removal, local streets by local contractors agreement. Okay, so you have some information that's provided there, and you have the associated motion. Can I get a mover for that particular motion?
M 2022-1219-207, that the following resolution be adopted. Resolution, whereas council wish to outsource snow cleaning services during certain larger winter storms and before the Department of Transport and Infrastructure get to clear all public roadways, and whereas the proposed contracts are under the threshold of the Procurement Act and its regulations, and whereas council agrees that this proposed measures does not need to proceed by way of purchasing policy 02-2012, be it resolved that council agrees to provide contracts to 500503 NB Limited, WD Smear Company Limited, Dwayne Woodcock, and R. Murphy and Sons Trucking Limited. Be it also resolved that each contract shall not exceed $3,900 plus HST if applicable, and be it also resolved that the signing officers are hereby authorized to sign the snow blowing agreement purchased by legal, prepared by legal counsel.
Okay, can I? Councilor Carmichael seconds it. On the question?
I have a question. Do we know how many times that program was used last year?
I guess 3 times. I think near the end of March, I think I remember getting a call from CEO Ferguson at the time.
And who makes the decision as to when they go out? Because I've personally received messages from contractors, wanting to know if they should go out. And I think it needs to be pretty clear as to who gives that directive and who they get it from. And based on the information we received on this, I'm figuring out that there's a limit of almost $18,000. That would be the max spent if each contractor went out the max amount of times that they're allotted for the amount that you've allowed.
Yeah, I believe that's.
And I can understand that people who are living on the back roads would want to get out quicker in a storm, and especially in areas that drifts and they can't get out, and I can understand and sympathize with how frustrating that must be. But I think it's very unfair that we as a village are going to set aside or budget close to $20,000 to ensure that people who are already on maintained roads get out a little bit quicker, while we have residents that are paying the same taxes who are on roads that we are refusing to maintain. And in some cases, people are being forced out of their homes in the winter months because they can't get out. They can't get out to go to work, they can't get out. There's insurance on their properties that are being canceled because fire trucks can't make it there. And I think that we should be focusing on those roads and helping these people prior to helping the people who are already on maintained roads get out just a bit quicker. And like I said, I know that that can be frustrating, but I couldn't even imagine being trapped in my home and somebody telling me that although you pay the same taxes as everybody else, we're not even gonna help you get out, we're not gonna open your road, and you're on your own to figure it out. So I personally would prefer to see this $20,000 put towards helping those people before helping the people we are already helping, basically.
Anyone else before Deputy Mayor Berg gets the last word?
I believe that the contract states that the superintendent will make the call. It is up to the superintendent to decide whether to disperse the contractors, so that'll answer that question, I believe. You know, at the time, pardon me? Well, at this time, acting superintendent Guitar. It was Public Works, I guess. Yeah. So he would make the call as to whether they would be called upon or not. The other side of the coin to that comes down to that I have no issues whatsoever with anything else there.
Okay, so let's move on to the vote. Just checking here for a second. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that would be dash 207. Did we get a mover yet for that?
Yep.
Mover in a second, or okay, so let's get to the vote then. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, so that motion passed. And next we're down to general correspondence.
There are some separate items there from the list, so I'll let council deal with those in terms of the requests that were made and the information that was provided.
Okay. Anything else, Quarter Treasurer Cormier?
No, once they go through those, then we'll just go through the general other correspondence after those are dealt with.
Okay. Just kind of lost my place here. So council, does council want to delve into that?
On the list, that is asking for snow removal. When we gave them, were asked to let this person build, the person was told that it was an on-service road. So this one here, I don't know if I could accept that one. And the second person is a private road, and again, that's something, we can't start doing private roads.
Okay. So we know how Councilor Carmichael feels about that. Any other council members want to speak to that?
Was there not an issue with the tracks? There's something about the tracks on some of these unserviced roads that cause problems for large vehicles to go over. Deputy Mayor, you were going to
I have reached
inquire.
out to the CN, I just haven't heard back from them yet. So that is exactly the reason why I mentioned that these type of requests need to be evaluated in 2023. That will allow us time to get all the information required as to what the issues are and the problems are. If council sees fit to resolve those problems, then at the end of the day, we would be able to put funding into our budget in 2023 for 2024, and that would address those problems. But I believe as it sits right now, we just need to gather information, ask those people to be patient and give us time to gather the information, and allow council a chance to evaluate the situation and advise accordingly.
Okay,
I agree that there needs to be evaluation, but the people who are requesting this and who are basically trapped all winter, we've been on council now for close to 2 years, over a year and a half, and they've been coming and requesting help since we've been on council. So I think that we've done them an injustice, and this should have been something that was a priority this year. And I do understand too that, some roads are private, but the roads that are owned by the village, if there's people living on it, they should be maintained.
okay. Let's take these separately then, I think. So 10-1, you have 10-1 in front of you. What's the consensus on 10-1? Just maybe a show of hands, or, I know Councillor Carmichael is opposed. Councillor Guitar-McDonald, what's your thoughts?
I would like to hear what CN has to say about the rail lines, to be completely honest.
Okay, so before you support that motion, you want more information. Okay, so that's 2. Anyone else hesitate?
I'm in agreement that we need to have the information from the CN, and even for budgeting purposes, we'd have to have that information. So I'm in agreement that we wait.
Okay, so that's 3 on 10-1. 10-2, we had the same, would you have the same idea, or we'll just do the same thing? Who's opposed at 10-2? Councillor Carmichael, what do you think? What do you feel?
I'm opposed to it because it's a personal road.
Okay, Councillor Guitar-McDonald? Okay, anyone else? Opposed? Well, you have a request there from 10-2, you had one from 10-1, now you have one from 10-2. It's a different person, different set of circumstances. Okay. Okay, so 10-2, much the same. Are there any other opposition, or, okay, anyone else wish to speak to that? Okay, so then we get 10-3. 10-3 is another request, different kind of request. So let's go through that. Does anyone have anything they wish to add to 10-3 before we deal with that? Anyone want to speak to 10-3? Which is your request from, I'm not sure if we can give the individual's name in a public meeting. Maybe it's not important to do that, but we have a request for compensation of damages.
I have been in conversation with this individual and relayed to them that this is something that we have to discuss amongst council and to see about our government act pertaining to this situation. And they agreed that they would wait to hear what our decisions would be on it. And it's something that we may have to go to legal about, just to see where our stand is. Okay?
Okay, so it sounds like the gentleman or the lady who's willing to wait until council deals with it further. Is that the majority of council's wish?
Could I just ask that if this individual confirm whether they have that type of insurance or not? I know you can buy it, but the question is, do they have it? Yes or no? Well, I'd like that confirmed, just to say, yes, we do, no, we don't.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, it sounds like we'll wait on that one till there's more information. That takes us to correspondence list and documents. 10.
Okay, as usual, the ones that's highlighted in your packages in yellow, you have copies of those. There's Gerald Sheput, biologist, requesting permission to use the data count for the Jacket River salmon barrier. I believe I sent that out by email to council as well. I also sent out a request to the Department of Natural Resources to see if they had any opposition to that, because basically it's their spreadsheet that they give to the salmon barrier. I haven't heard back from them, but I also haven't heard back from council if they are, have no issue with that, because I think there's a university or something they're passing along to us, doing a study or something onto it, so.
Okay. Anything else?
So I don't know if council want to speak
Council.
to that in terms of giving permission or not giving permission.
Council? Anyone wish to
I
speak to
don't
it?
see any reason why they couldn't get that information.
Okay. I'll just follow up with DNR again to make sure they have no issues, but
Yep.
other than that, okay. Timmy Collins, who actually is here this evening, he may speak to council later if you wish, but he's requesting the council to make changes to the ATV bylaw as per his letter, which you have also in your package. And that's in regards to adding some streets to allow the ATV more access to the mainstream and so some of the businesses. And I can't remember all what was in his letter, but I know he has been part of that ATV group, federation and stuff, so he may be able to enlighten us later. We had Bev Noel request for information regarding the golf tournament. I know this was spoke about by council at a couple of meetings after the meetings, so I don't know if there's anything that needs to be responded to there. And we have Ryan Wilbur request to address council. I did speak to Mr. Wilbur, but was having a pretty large agenda this evening, and he was more than able to postpone his till January, our January regular meeting. And I did respond back to him to tell him I would schedule him in there. In the information, there was the Rescue SPCA October, November, Atlantic Railway track inspection for October, Beldoon Library report for October, the Chaleur Regional Service Commission building permit reports for October, November, Department of Local Government, Local Governance Orientation, and that's more in relation, I think, to the new reformed municipalities. Department of Local Government Environmental Trust Fund application process, the Chaleur Regional Service Commission 2023, that was the change in the tipping fees. Vitality, there was various press releases, 8 in all, that was sent to council by email. We had conferences and workshops, and we had invitation for the mayor, I believe, for Honorable Brendan Murphy, the Lieutenant Governor's New Year's Levy, January 1st, 2023 in Fredericton. Thank yous and congratulations. It was from the Carmichael family and MS, Dr. Pamela Valentine, and the Canadian Mental Health Association of New Brunswick. We had magazines, Municipal World, it was 2 Community Infrastructure, 2 Hologram, and Renew Canada Infrastructure. Correspondence out was a notice of contravention for unsightly premises to 7 properties. Ryan Wilbur, which I just spoke about, I advised him that he could be on the agenda for the January 16th meeting. Bathurst Minor Hockey, Beldoon Power and Fitness Club, Flow Guitar, Dusty Sneakers, and DRHS International Students. This was all in relation to grants that was approved in October.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve?
No.
Don't need one?
No.
Okay, so we can get an adjournment motion.
19-208, that the meeting is adjourned at 8:04.
Seconder?
Second it.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Before we leave, I got a bunch of documents then to sign related to tonight's meeting.